that was how Kamaldeen Sulemana arrived for his medicals ahead of his imminent move to Atalanta, and I'll be telling you more about this particular medicals which took place today on Monday, June 30th. But the good friend of Kamaldeen Sulemana, that is Mohamed Kudus, have you heard the news about him? Well, it turns out that Tottenham Hotspurs are interested in signing Mohamed Kudus from West Ham United. Well, I'll tell you all about it right here on the channel. But I know in the past couple of weeks you've also heard that Tottenham Hotspur has been linked with a possible deal with Antoine Semenyo. What has changed so far? Well, I'll tell you also about that right here on the channel. All you have to do is to subscribe if you haven't, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. So now let's get right into it. And Ghana's winger, that is Kamaldeen Sulemana, today underwent his medicals with Atalanta ahead of his imminent move to join the Italian Serie A team. Well, Kamaldeen Sulemana, who played for Southampton last season in the Premier League, well, their team got relegated back to the Championship, and after that spell, well, Kamaldeen Sulemana decided that his time was up and had to leave the English Premier League. Now he set his focus on joining Atalanta in the Italian Serie A, from playing in the Ghana League to playing in the Danish League to playing in the French League, English football, and now he's in Italy. Well, how much has Atalanta lined up for Southampton to benefit from this deal? Well, according to Fabrizio Romano, the Italian side, that is Atalanta, have put up an amount of 17.5 million for Southampton, and Southampton also wants 4 million in the addition as add-ons in case the player performs very well in terms of meeting a particular target of goals and also winning titles with Atalanta. It will mean that Southampton will also get more money from the deal. Well, how has Kamaldeen Sulemana's spell with Southampton been so far? He joined them in the winter transfer window back in 2023 from Stade Rennais, and it was supposed to be a good relationship, or was supposed to be a good relationship, turned sour after the Ghanaian player underwent several injury spells, and that put him away for a couple of weeks and months. Well, after those injury spells, came back with another injury spells, and that made Kamaldeen Sulemana lose his place in the Southampton team. Well, after he got back to his feet, they were back in the Premier League once again after playing in the Championship, but he wasn't getting enough game time despite showing glimpses of being spectacular. Well, the Southampton coach didn't give him enough chance. However, Ivan Juric, the head coach of Atalanta, has identified Kamaldeen Sulemana as a good player who he believes can flourish under him in the Italian Serie A. Well, the reason Atalanta also won the Ghanaian player is because they want to improve their performance in the European competitions and also improve their performance in the Italian Serie A. That is why they are bringing in Kamaldeen Sulemana. So be it as it may, in the next couple of days, Kamaldeen Sulemana will be unveiled by Atalanta, and we are expecting it very well. But you can see Kamaldeen Sulemana undergoing his medicals in the pictures on your screens. Well, away from Kamaldeen Sulemana, let's talk about his good friend, that is Mohamed Kudus. Well, if you've not heard the news, let me tell you, Tottenham Hotspurs, the current Europa League champions, are interested in signing Mohamed Kudus from West Ham United. Well, why are Spurs looking forward to bring Mohamed Kudus to their team? Well, according to what I've gathered so far, Spurs are looking forward to find a player who is versatile in playing all three roles up front. Mohamed Kudus is that kind of player who they think is capable of playing on the left flanks, right flanks, and also playing as the central attacker, and that is why Spurs are looking forward to bring in the Ghanaian player. Well, another reason why Spurs are looking forward to bring Mohamed Kudus in is because if you check the Premier League table last season, Spurs were close to relegation, and they don't want to be a casualty of that anymore. So they are looking forward to boost their team and also compete very well in the UEFA Champions League, and that is why Mohamed Kudus has been identified as one of the best players that can help Spurs next season. However, as West Ham going to reduce their asking price for Mohamed Kudus? Well, hear me out. West Ham United have placed an 85 million clause on the Ghanaian midfielder, but however, West Ham United have some financial problems, and that is why they are ready to listen to offers for the Ghanaian midfielder. West Ham brought in Mohamed Kudus from Ajax for a little over 30 million, and they've been able to see the player flourish and all that. However, the little issue has to do with Mohamed Kudus' performance last season. He didn't score enough goals, and that is what has made his price tag go a little bit lower. If it was his first season in the Premier League, well, Mohamed Kudus could have left for 85 million, but as it stands now, well, West Ham United, due to their financial issues, they want to sell Mohamed Kudus because they believe that if they sell Mohamed Kudus, they'll get enough money to help Graham Potter reshape the West Ham team, because West Ham is not bad at all. Last season, they were able to bring in the Manchester United player Wan-Bissaka, who did very well with them. They showed glimpses of signs that if West Ham gets enough players in their team, they'll be able to perform very well. Already some players have left West Ham already, and West Ham believe that, well, if they sell Mohamed Kudus, they'll have enough money to be able to enter into the transfer market and get in players. That is why they want to sell Mohamed Kudus. Already the Ghanaian player is going into his third season, and as a player, if you're in your third season, you know your team, if they don't sell you quickly, they end up losing enough money on your sale. So that is why West Ham are looking forward to sell Mohamed Kudus to Spurs. However, it is not only Tottenham Hotspurs who are interested in signing Mohamed Kudus. According to reports from England, Chelsea have also entered into the bargaining. Already weeks ago, we heard that Newcastle were also interested in signing the Ghanaian player. However, the only issue is that Newcastle wants to target Swedish player, that is Elanga, and if Nottingham Forest are not willing to sell Elanga, that is when they'll come back to Mohamed Kudus. So that is why you've not heard a little about Newcastle United's interest in Mohamed Kudus because of Elanga. Away from that, let's go on and wrap it all up with Antoine Semenyo. Well, the Ghanaian player was also linked with a possible move to join Spurs, the current Europa League champions. However, in the last couple of weeks, it seems everything has died down. That is because Bournemouth have been described as overpricing Antoine Semenyo. According to what some Spurs fans have been saying on social media, they don't think that Antoine Semenyo deserves that asking price of 70 million, because they believe that although Antoine Semenyo is a good player, well, you bought him from Bristol City for a good amount of money, but 70 million is a huge price to buy Antoine Semenyo, and that is why Spurs are moving away from Antoine Semenyo. So that is why you've not heard anything about Antoine Semenyo's possible move away from Bournemouth to join Spurs. On the other hand, according to some people, they believe that Bournemouth have let go of a couple of players, and they believe that, well, if Bournemouth let go of Antoine Semenyo, it will have a huge problem on their performance next season, and that is why they want to keep Antoine Semenyo for another season. Last season, Antoine Semenyo burst in 13 goals for his team, Bournemouth. But on the other hand also, well, Dominic Solanke came from Bournemouth, and so, well, if Spurs goes in for another Bournemouth player, it will be like you are weakening Bournemouth on the other hand. So yes, that is probably why Bournemouth are not ready to sell Antoine Semenyo, and that is why they are asking for 70 million. It's because they don't want to sell Antoine Semenyo. We'll monitor the transfer space and bring you up to speed on how everything goes. But until then, this has been another edition of Sports Update Ghana. Thanks for enjoying the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.